Hope you're having a great day out there. Guys, we come up to the airfield up here. Well, not the airfield, but the local park where I like to fly. Guys, brought along with me the Apprentice. My original one, the first plane I got here, is the Apprentice STS. Been having a lot of fun with this plane. Had a great time. I crashed it for the first time, and I'll show you the damages here in a moment. But also, I just picked up the new Carbon Cub S2. It's the 1.3 meter. And guys, took this thing out yesterday for its first maiden flight. Flew beautiful, but there was one big thing I noticed between these two different planes that, you know, maybe if you're just planning on starting to fly, it's good to know. And I'm going to tell you the differences, at least from a noob's point of view. Obviously, I'm pretty new to all this, but some things I'm learning very quickly. So, the Apprentice, I had it out last week and was up here flying, getting way too comfortable, and started doing a lot of barrel rolls, a lot of loops and stuff. And I ended up doing a barrel loop a little too close to the ground, and this is what happened. So, yeah, I did a barrel roll a little too close to the ground and sent the poor Apprentice nose first into the ground. Some of you guys may have seen a couple of pictures I posted up of it, but as you can see, she's in one piece again. Now, when it nosedived, it broke this front little housing piece. It snapped the motor mount inside that holds the motor, destroyed the blade, destroyed the nose cone here, and the worst part was snapping the rear whole tail section off of here. You can see there's still a few little cracks in here, but I got some special glue. It was a CF as a foam safe glue. Glued it, put some little wooden dowel rods in here to kind of help support it, and then glued it, and then put on some really heavy duty clear masking tape type stuff. And she is nice and firm. It's not moving at all. Everything seemed to stick together pretty well. The wings also had snapped in half. There's a carbon fiber rod that runs down the middle. I broke that. It was a little bit short, but I glued it back together and glued the wings and used the masking tape on here also. And the wings are super, I mean, everything is not going anywhere. I was pretty impressed with the glue and how everything worked out. But she is all back together in one piece again. Absolutely love this plane. It's been fun. It's a great way to learn how to fly. Now, this is where the difference is between these two planes that I just learned yesterday. Now, for anybody just starting out and getting the first plane and debating, because a lot of people say, you know, the Apprentice or the Carbon Cub is a great starter plane. Now, here is my opinion of the two. They both fly great. The Apprentice, though, has one big advantage, especially if you're just learning. You can glide this thing in. You can chop that throttle and glide it in, and it's super easy to land. I mean, learning how to land is great on this plane. Yesterday, the first time out on this plane, everything was pretty much the same. It was way more agile in the air. I mean, it'll do flips and barrel rolls like no other. Handles great. But landing, I learned very quickly that with the Apprentice, when you're gliding in real slow, the Apprentice will glide in. If you get this thing going too slow on landings, it just falls out of the sky. Now, I don't know if this is across the board and if this is normal for this model. Some friends told me it is. For, you know, the different planes, that they all kind of land differently, and some of them you need a little more speed with. But the Cub definitely got to have a little bit of throttle going when you land this one. However, the Apprentice, you can just glide this thing in completely dead stick, you know, the throttle chopped, and she'll fly in beautiful. So, in my personal opinion so far, in my noob opinion, if you were looking to get your very first plane, between these two, at least, I would definitely say pick up the Apprentice STS. Far easier to land is the big thing, and she just will float around. But guys, we're going to take out both of these. One thing I had after putting this back together, I noticed that whenever you run this thing in the advanced mode, because this is your mode switch right here, that's the beginner, intermediate, and advanced, that this plane wants to climb really hard. And I started trying to adjust my servos and stuff, so I'm going to see if I can get that dialed in here. I'm not going to bore you with a whole ton of flying, and sorry for all the talking, but plane videos, you know, you can get some video captured of it, but it's a little bit harder. But I just kind of wanted to throw this out there because I know a lot of guys on this channel have been saying they're really interested in getting, you know, plane and learn how to fly, and I just figured I'd throw my 2 cents in. One thing I also did do with my Apprentice is I got a tiny bit bigger wheels for this thing for taking off and landing in the grass. It made it a lot easier. Running this thing on the Spectrum 3200 milliamp 30C 3S lipos. I picked up 3 of these. They fit in here nicely. They also fit great in the Cub. I see a lot of people running the 2200 millimeter in the Cub, but it doesn't seem like the flight time is very long. The 32s work great in here. At least yesterday I flew it. But and these are the controllers to come with all of the ready to flies. It's just the Spectrum DXS Has all your switches you need, and very easy to use and intuitive. So I'm going to go ahead, get the batteries in the Apprentice here, and get this thing up in the air and try to tune out my elevation and figure out what's going on here. Hopefully I got it fixed because I changed my settings, but I'll get a video of this thing taking off and some landing and show you the differences between taking off and landing this and taking off and landing that. Now, if there's any of you guys out there on this channel that also have the Cub or both of these, let me know if yours does the same thing with the just kind of falling. Because what was happening is I'd get about 4 or 5 feet off the ground coasting in, and it would just drop, just fall completely out of the sky. Now, after doing that a couple times, I finally realized that maybe I need to carry some more speed. So the last couple landings, I was carrying a little more speed into it, and she landed beautiful. But let's go ahead and get the Apprentice up. All right, let's get it. This plane takes off so nicely. It's amazing. We do have quite a bit of wind out here, so that is a little bit of a factor, but I know it's probably getting hard to see it at this point. I'm going to try to zoom this video in as much as I can. I know it's kind of hard to see the planes, and it's kind of the hard part about recording plane videos is not having a zoomable camera or having another person there to record. But I'm going to go ahead and get this thing up and do some trims for a moment, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm going to land it. All right, well, I think I figured out my elevation problem and got it fixed. We could do a couple loops here. She seems to be flying normal. Hopefully you guys can even see that. But she seems to be flying. I dropped the points where the rear elevator or the servo arm thing, honestly don't know what it's called now, but where it hits the rear tail, rear elevators, and readjusted that, and it seems to be a lot more normal now. You could do some barrel rolls, some loops. Sorry about the wind, guys. All right, guys, it's gonna be slow, but I have throttle completely chopped on this thing right now. No throttle whatsoever, and probably kind of hard to even see with the angle I'm coming in at, but I am coming into the wind and able to kind of just bring it down real lightly and touchdown. I landed it a little further away from myself than I wanted to, but I was just trying to show you that the Apprentice, you can land this thing, just completely hack the throttle, turn it off, and glide this thing in beautifully. So far, I have not been able to do that on the Cub, and we're going to take the Cub up here in a moment, and I'll show you the differences in the handling. Hopefully, I'm going to try to zoom in on some of the footage here so you guys can see the differences. I mean, the Apprentice will do barrel rolls and loops and forward, front loops and everything. It takes a lot longer to do it. You have to have more height. On the Cub, it's very quick. A lot quicker reacting from what I'm noticing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this battery out on the Apprentice, and then we'll bust out the Cub here, and we'll take that up for a little rip. Guys, the wind up here today is kind of brutal. Probably shouldn't be flying, at least with my skill level so far. I mean, I had the throttle thrust for probably the last 5 minutes, and it was a bear to get it to come to the ground. It just was wanting to stay up there and float. All right, well, we're going to try to take the Cub up here. I don't know if you guys can see that flag down there, but the wind is blowing pretty decent. It's kind of scaring me a little bit, honestly, but I got to learn how to fly in the wind. It ain't always going to be beautiful. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing in the air and see what we got. Takes off beautifully too. Very smooth, very easy to take off. Like I said, everything is a little bit faster though on this thing. Your steering, your handling, compared to the Apprentice at any rate, it's definitely a lot quicker. I have a few friends up there. There's a couple hawks cruising around the plane right now. Hopefully you guys can see the plane. It seems to stick out because it's got a darker bottom to it. It seems to stick out in the sky a little bit better, but again, guys, I apologize for this wind. It's just bad out here today. But I don't know if you can see this, but this thing will do barrel rolls like no other. It'll do barrel rolls. It's just up there spinning right now like crazy. It's nuts. And we got a bad gust of wind. Sorry for those of you with the video volume cranked up or headphones on. Not optimal weather today. Well, guys, I'm slowly trying to bring it down here when these wind gusts are really picking up. I mean, really heavy, as you guys can probably hear in the phone right now. Honestly, getting this thing to the ground is not much fun, so I'll try to bring you guys back when I'm ready to land. All right, guys, well, I'm going to attempt to land this thing here. Dropping the throttle down pretty low. It's very slow coming in. It's probably even hard to see. Trying to see it here. Ooh. I landed. It wasn't the most beautiful thing. Probably didn't even see it. The wind is just making it really difficult. All right, well, we're out here at the plane. Plane took it like a champ. I mean, it landed out here in the grass, not too bad. It's a pretty soft landing, but the wind is just getting to be a little too much. I'm not feeling comfortable landing this thing. It's hard to land it because even with the throttle chopped, it just wants to stay up there. So I don't think I'm going to test my luck anymore today and end up lawn darting this or destroying the new one. So I think we're going to call it a day and get this thing back to the truck. All right, guys, well, we got back to the truck here. I'm going to bust out the Apprentice and run my last battery pack through it because this plane does handle the wind quite a bit better. Obviously, it's a bigger wingspan, and it just kind of floats a little better. But as you guys seen with the Cub, it was kind of a hard judgment on that one to show you exactly the differences. But this plane, you got to land with a little bit of speed. It flies awesome, really can do some acrobats and do them a lot faster. Really enjoying it. I think I'm going to really love this whenever the winds aren't blowing, 15 miles an hour or more. So we're going to call it a day before I crash that. But I hope you all enjoyed a little video here on the planes. I know some of you guys, some of you are interested in it. Some of you are like, bring out the cars. But like I said, we're going to throw in a plane video here and there and have a little fun with them. But that's going to do it for today. So until next time, y'all be safe. Be careful out there. Peace out, everybody.